Hello and welcome to the Tea Party Hardy channel. Well, this video is about a review of the Bad News Bears, but for the purpose of celebrating America's birthday on July 4th. What does the Bad News Bears have to do with celebrating America's birthday? Well, it came out in 1976, which was the bicentennial of America's birth, which is 200 years, which is way easier to say than when we get to 250 years, if we make it. So, by watching The Bad News Bears from 1976, you will see a movie that reflects what was going on in America when it was 200 years old. Tomorrow, we will release a video about what it was like in America at 100 years old, so you can see what it's like to celebrate the centennial of America's birthday. And then finally, on the 4th of July, we will release, or maybe even on the 3rd of July to give you time to watch it, we will release what it was like in actual 1776 in America and see what that was like. As you can imagine, this one actually takes place in 1976, whereas the ones I'm going to show you in the future days will be retrospectives. Because the movie making industry in 1876 just wasn't that great, as in it hadn't even been invented yet. Same goes for 1776. Okay, so Bad News Bears, American Bicentennial. Let me show you something else before we get into it, though. Hold that thought. I want to show you something else as an alternative. If the Bad News Bears isn't your beat for celebrating America's 200th birthday, then you can always take a look at Disney's America on Parade, which was created for the bicentennial, and here you can see a character playing Ben Franklin, and then the they're not colonial soldiers because the uniform's the wrong color, but I think they're supposed to be colonial soldiers. But yeah, they're the wrong color. Anyway, so you can do that. And as a retrospective, the America in... It was crazy because... Okay, well, let me do the review first, and then I'll do the more history thing for you. Bad News Bears, 1976. The year before Star Wars came out, the same year that Logan's Run came out. Just to give you some grounding of what was going on in the culture. If you were a child in the 70s growing up, you were completely indoctrinated with all of the Americana for the bicentennial. And TV shows and commercials were everywhere on the TV showing you events of 1776. For some reason, they completely ignored 1876. I get passing over it, but not completely ignoring it, but that's what happened. Anyway, so... yes, you were filled with Americana, and you would also be a Generation Xer. So if you think Generation Xers care more about America than other generations, it's probably because of that influence. And it gave a great retrospective of the Founding Fathers. Whereas adults in 1976 were coming to it with the end of the Vietnam War, as well as coming off of Watergate. So adults were phenomenally cynical about America. Oh, and let's not forget the Cultural Revolution of the 1960s, which is finishing up in the 1920s with the left winning. But as a Tea Party Hardy channel, we hope that alters. Anyway, so yeah, adults were living in the world of here is this what happened to our system. You got Watergate, you've got the president resigning, you've got Vietnam, you've got Jimmy Carter, who in a huge economic melee that he would eventually dub it on accident. And it was awful. But as a kid, you're a kid. You don't know what all this stuff is. You don't care, and you're just being shown cartoons of the Founding Fathers and watching commercials about what it was like in 1776 to fight for American patriotism. And Woodsy Owl, never be a dirty bird, help spread the word. Give a hoot, don't pollute. You're seeing Italian guys playing Indians crying when there's garbage on the freeway. So it was all about make America better and make it beautiful. Whereas if you're growing up in 2020, what you're getting is nothing like that at all. What you're getting in 2020, if you're a kid, well, because the adults are facing the same cynicism, but what the kids are getting is you really need to hate America. All the Founding Fathers were racist pigs. And it doesn't matter if that's true or not, because it's not. Yeah, John Adams, in fact, was vehemently against vehemently against slavery. Sorry, I had the wrong word in my head from a different concept. Anyway, Bad News Bears, 1976. So you go into this movie, and it's a kids' movie. It's rated PG. Now, back then, PG was a big deal because PG-13 hadn't been invented yet. PG-13 was inspired by the film Indiana Jones and it's the second one. What was the second one called? I know it's the one nobody likes. But anyways, the one where he goes to India and they're eating monkey brains. And it's just like, everybody's like, dude, you can't show little kids eating monkey brains. So it's like, but it's not a cuss word and it's not nudity. So I'm like, darn, that's true. We need to come up with a new one. And so PG-13 was invented because of Indiana Jones Part 2. Then, that means in 1976, you only had PG to say, You had rated G, which was a huge majority of the movies. And now I don't think anything comes out that's, well, nothing comes out at all anymore because of the pandemic. But I don't think anything comes out that's rated G anymore. But in those days, rated G was what everybody wanted because it's general audiences. It's the biggest bucks. That actually hasn't changed. Then you'd have PG, which meant parental guidance. And they really meant it's like, you might want to take a look. Because in those days, they expected parents, which were the baby boomers at the time, parents to actually be somewhat attentive. And they were somewhat attentive. Unlike their children of the Gen Xers when they were helicopter parents. And it's like, oh, good God, are you ever going to let them go? No, apparently not. They're still at home, by the way. When they're not out busy rioting and protesting, of course. Or looting. Or creating fake cities like Chaz. No, it's chopped. No, it's gone. Whatever. Bad News Bears. So, Bad News Bears. It is filled with language that will scare the pants off of anybody younger than a Gen Xer. You're going to go, oh, kids can say that? How could they let them say that? It's like, well, first of all, because they're live action, where in 2020 it has to be a cartoon, and then kids can do that and so much more. So you might want to pay attention to what you're letting slip as compared to what they let slip. Not to mention in the real world. I think it's stunning that children that are in grade school are taught that stupid is a cuss word, but F word, S word, and all those other, and A word, and all those are not cuss words to get in trouble for. But if you say stupid, so some would say that's stupid. So Bad News Bears. Yeah, Bad News Bears. So it's a movie about kids playing baseball. And the name of their team is the Bears. Not the Bad News Bears. That's just the name for the movie. And it's these kids that can't get a coach. So they get Walter Matthau to be the coach. And as you can see, he smokes and he drinks. That was not considered good at the time. That was the joke. That's why it's a comedy. You see, because in 2020, there's nothing allowed. You're not allowed to joke anymore. No. The thought police will come and cancel you. But in 1976, you could still tell jokes. And the joke was, he's drinking beer. He's a bail bondsman. That's his job. He does bail bonds. And if he doesn't do that, it somehow ends up being on their shirts for their sponsor. So, yeah. So there's cigarettes, there's beer, lots of beer, in fact. And then they put a girl on the team. Because if you think that Captain Marvel was the first woman hero, then you're brain dead. Because they've been shoving women to the front as the superhero since the early 70s. This is 1976, so it's mid-70s. And she's the picture. She's awesome. She's a girl. It's not new. And it was just as much social justice warrior in those days as it is today. The difference being is she wasn't immortal. She had weaknesses, and she wasn't a perfect pitcher, and she needed help. And she needed help from a teammate. Well, since she's the only girl, that means her teammate's a man. Or a boy in this case. And yeah, so that's how they did social justice warriors in the 70s as compared to now. It's like, no, you've seen Captain Marvel. She could defeat anybody. She's a god. The only person that she might not be able to defeat is Superman, but he's from DC and she's from Marvel. That's why she's called Captain Marvel. So, yeah, that's how that played out. Now, Bad News Bears. So, it's a movie about kids who are playing baseball. And they got attitude problems a lot. Because, you see, that was funny. And it takes place in L.A. So, even in the 1970s, you had, I'll use 2020 terms, because in the movie they don't use 2020 terms. They definitely don't, and that's where the younger the Gen Xers are going to go, oh my God, racist, racist, racist. Remember when it used to be witch in the 1490s? I miss witch. Now it's racist, racist, racist. Same phenomenon, same result. They didn't cancel them in those days. Well, they did cancel them at the beginning, and then they started hanging them. Now they just cancel them. They don't hang them. But they are putting fake guillotines on their yard. Ask Jeff Bezos. Now, about the movie The Bad News Bears. So, it's a movie about kids, and because it takes place in LA, there is a couple of Mexican kids on the team. There's a couple, at least one black guy on the team, I think a couple, and some white kids, and bada bing, bada boom, they have a girl. Oh, everybody freaks out. And then they play baseball, and it's a kids' movie, so you already know the ending. Because all kids' movies end the same. That's what makes them kid movies. Because in adult movies, if they're from America, they're like, no, you're allowed to have a downer ending where everybody dies. And yeah. Anyways, so I won't tell you the ending because I don't need to. But is it worth watching? Oh, it's totally worth watching. Unless you're below Gen X, and then you better firm up your girders, because the real world's about to smack you upside the head. And the thought police hadn't been born yet, and the thought police were not in control yet. And let's hope that when we get to 250 years, the thought police will also no longer be in control, and we can go back to having comedy, and we can go back to making fun of people. What did you say, making fun of people? I did say making fun of people. Making fun of people is a good thing. Never confuse it with making rude of people. Making fun means there's fun going on and everybody's enjoying it. You see it all the time in children because they haven't been destroyed yet. And they'll say stuff and they'll tease back. That's making fun. When you say something and you hurt the other person's feelings and they bring that to your attention either through tears, running away, punching you, things like that, that's the clue that's like, oh, that really wasn't making fun. Okay, we won't do that part anymore, because that's what humans are supposed to do. They're supposed to adapt. They're supposed to be able to learn and adapt. There's no adaptation in cancellation. No, when you do cancellation, you are saying, I want you destroyed. I wish your head was being cut off, but we don't allow that currently, but we're working on it. And I never want to see you again, and may you starve to death and die. Yeah, that's hardly room for adaptation, don't you think? So, anyways, Bad News Bears. It's a good movie. You should check it out. It will let you see what America was like in 1976, and you'll have a good idea of like, wow, so that's what America was like then. So you'll appreciate America's history quick before they tear it down, like Gone with the Wind, all the statues. Who knows what they're going to go for next? They've gone for the statues, which is art. Let's not forget, those are sculptures. How long until they come for the next art? Pretty much whenever they want, because nobody's stopping them. But there you go. All right, so we hope you enjoyed that review of the Bad News Bears for celebrating America's 200th birthday. Tomorrow we will give you a review for a movie to celebrate America's 100th birthday. And like we said, the following day, either July 3rd or 4th, we will give you the review for how to celebrate America's initial birthday, the year zero, when we were born in 1776. And with that, thank you for watching the Tea Party Hardy channel, and we will see you in the future.